Do amazing with Total Wireless. Get an unlimited talk, text, and data plan for $25 per month. 1 gig at high speed, then 2G. Total Wireless. Do amazing. A month equals 30 days. Terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
Welcome to the Lady Gang. You're about to listen to our podcast, but there is so much more our community has to offer. Follow us at the Lady Gang, join our secret Facebook group, shop our clothing line, books, and find out when we're going to be in your city at theladygang.com. We're so excited you're here. Enjoy the show.
Well, what is this?
Welcome to the Lady Gang.
That's amazing. Say that again.
The Lady Gang.
Things are about to change around here.
Each week we catch up with Hollywood's hottest girl posse, Kelty Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jack Vanek.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Lady Gang. I am Becca Tobin here with Jack Vanek and Kelty Knight.
Hello.
You guys almost harmonized.
Almost.
Wow.
If I had any sound of goodness in my voice.
I know. It's
wow.
true. I feel like when I'm just singing around my house, like I actually do have a really wonderful voice. It's just when I have to sing an actual song where it starts failing me.
How many times have you had to sing an actual song in public?
No, I mean, when I was auditioning and like really trying to sing notes, like when I make up my own song, when I'm like, I've got some dates in my pantry, like that's not bad.
It's bad.
Oh, okay.
You sound like a lounge singer, though. I mean, you could probably get a job somewhere.
Are you in a giant bow again?
Yep.
What is
Josie Siwa.
Oh,
Wow.
it's like a scarf as a bow.
Scarf bow. So I am having an issue with my hair where I've now grown my hair so long and the ends are crunchy and I know they need to be trimmed, but I'm so excited by the length that I refuse to trim them. So I'm just trying to oil them to death to see if they'll calm down. I know they won't. I know I need a trim.
I mean, that's the whole thing with the trim. You get a light dusting and then you continue to grow.
I know, but I just had a dusting.
I sort of think that's bullshit. How can your hair follicle possibly know when you've had a little trim on the end of your hair?
Well, it just stops breaking off at the ends.
Yeah, it's breaking off at the ends, which is what I need.
That's where the shortage begins.
Oh, I see. I always thought it was like your hair knows when it gets a trim.
It has
your
feeling.
hair's dead as soon as it comes out, right?
Your hair is dead.
Yeah.
It's very dead.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you
was
so much for letting us in. And now it's time for...
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
I would really like to go first.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
So my bad week is that I've noticed another Kelty habit.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
God.
Oh, no.
And I wonder if you've picked up on this too, Jack. Sometimes I'll be texting her like work stuff or whatever, just communicating as you do.
Yeah.
And she'll respond like 4 texts in I'm actually in therapy. Let me get back to you. So this tells me that Kelty is texting during therapy and has her phone out or on loud, because I don't know a single person who has their phone out or not on silent in their hour of therapy. Kelty, care to explain?
First of all, yes, I would like to explain this. So I do FaceTime therapy with my therapist. So I cannot turn my phone off.
You can, though.
You can
How?
put do not disturb on, and then you won't get notifications.
Airplane, but then how do I get the service to do?
Why are you not doing it on your computer? You can
because
do
we do it over phone. I guess I can do it. I guess I am now.
I'm sorry, if you're doing it on your iPad, are you exiting the video with your therapist to answer a text message?
Well, oh, wow. This is just so dark. So what happened was in this particular time is that
more than once.
It is?
Yes.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but
So
I feel it happening
What
soon.
has happened is that the last few times I have like therapy at 9 a.m. and like we're working in the morning and we'll be texting about something. And then I know what I should do, which is like, hey, Becca, I'm going to be away for therapy now for an hour. I'll get back to you. But I text up until my therapy appointment and then I just switch over. She calls and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I just go missing on the text chain, but people are still texting me and they're expecting an answer, but like, I'm not going to answer for an hour. But then I start feeling anxiety about not answering while I'm in therapy. So I have to write back and say I'm in therapy. What I should just do is be like, hey, I'm going to get back to you in an hour. I have therapy now, but I don't do that. And that's my fault.
You should
and
probably talk about it in therapy.
I do talk about it in therapy, but I say to my therapist, I say, oh, hold on, I got to turn that's why I really love Slack, but we haven't been able to really get on that because you can just turn it off and you're like, okay, cool. It's not coming through as text messages.
Do not disturb is your best friend.
I guess I'm going to get into that.
Wow.
I use it every night when I go to bed.
So funny. Okay. Well, my good week is I have a very unhealthy amount of like positive comments on Instagram. Like when I post a picture, I'm very lucky and I'm very fortunate, but I have a lot of people that just tell me that I'm like wonderful and beautiful and amazing. And I know it's totally skewed and biased and like that's not real life. But
seems real to me.
Grateful as I am, I loved that somebody kept it so real for me on Instagram the other day when I posted a picture. And let me just read it. Read the comment.
Okay.
You're gorgeous, talented, flawed, funny, smart, and vulnerable.
Ooh,
Flawed.
I like how it's just like thrown in there in the middle. Like you might just skip over it with all the other praise.
Like it's almost as if as I was reading it, I was like, oh, well, maybe that's a typo for something else.
Yeah.
Flawed. Well, it could be, you have a lot of international fans. It could be broken English where someone meant flawless, but they just said flawed.
This person.
Oh no.
Shit, I just liked their comment from
Minnesota.
I mean,
oh God, hold on.
You're perfect in our eyes, Becca.
Flawed. No, I mean, I think he's American. So, but
maybe he's into a woman he can save.
We know those types of people.
I really appreciated him keeping it real. So
I like that. You know what? You need to be knocked down a little bit.
Because
like
then
10%.
Then I can take the other things seriously. I can take those to the bank. Because he's like, you're funny and smart. It's like, okay, obviously I am because I'm also flawed.
Yeah. This is a truth
You
teller.
can believe him. You can believe him. I love that.
Okay. Great.
Honest comments. I'll go. My good week is I have a word for the dictionary. I feel like it's been a minute. And I hope I haven't done this before. Deja vu. Have I done this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Deja vu. Definition.
Sing it like Olivia Rodrigo.
I don't know. Really know her.
Deja vu.
Oh, no. Don't listen to that song. Deja vu definition is the feeling that you've heard this shit before.
Oh.
So it's somebody that keeps on coming to you with the same bullshit over and over and over again. That's some deja vu.
Can I say what I thought it was?
What?
Yeah, I had the thought too.
Oh, an extra poop? Like a ghost poop?
No, like a poo that's reminiscent of another kind of poo, you know? Like a special poo. When you get one that like coils the way that you're supposed to when you have healthy intestine. Like I've only had that twice in my whole life.
I never get those. Ever.
I've had it twice and it was spectacular. And that was deja vu.
Or the thing of, like you eat the dairy and you're like, I'm going to be sick. And like, it's going to happen to you. And you're like, not this time. And then you feel like the pressure and grumbling and you're like,
or it's like the special type of poo that I only get from my special type of a laxative. Like that's some deja vu. That only special. But when I was Googling it, because I was writing the definition down, Poopery, they have a product called Deja Vu, which I must get now. So very on brand.
Cool.
My bad week is, so I got a new computer. I talked about it the other week. It is very exciting because shit isn't crashing every 2 seconds. But the most bad week happened to me with my new computer. And that is I lost all of my fonts. my fonts that I've been collecting for years and years and years. I had thousands of them. They're all gone.
How?
They just didn't transfer over. Every little
Both
thing.
of you need to get into the cloud. This is bullshit.
I don't think the font book saves on the cloud. Jared tried to fix it and he knows everything. I'm really devastated because now I'm going to have to use Comic Sans
Curls
and Curls font and Papyrus
Times New Roman.
And that's going to be the new LadyGang vibe. I'm just going to make it cool. It's been so bad that like maybe it's going to have its resurgence. And that's our new thing.
Like really messed up for us.
I know it really hurts my soul because every project that I've opened from the old computer, it's just not the same. It's missing everything. And now I'm crumbled.
That sucks.
Yeah. I like to call this the basic bitch good week, bad week. Cause like we don't have these incredible, like far flung stories. It's just like real life. And I'm going to continue this going. Okay. My bad week is that I was recently, so you know that this is the story everyone knows, but I lent my wedding dress to a LadyGanger. It got ruined by the dry cleaner. And then I thought I'm going to, dye it yellow and like wear it as a gown. It'll be fabulous. And so what we didn't know is that I am so messy in the kitchen that while I was dyeing it, I accidentally sloshed a ton of the water down into my electric stove. I have an electric stove top that has like a vent in it. So there's no vent from the top. It's just vented there. It went down while the oven was on. I heard it crackling and popping and I was like pretty sure I was about to light it on fire and I was like, oh. And then all the lights and all the burners flashed 6 times and then the whole thing was off forever. It would not turn on, nothing. No. I went upstairs, downstairs. I read the power, like everything. This is 3 weeks that I haven't been able to make a pasta or an egg. Everything I've cooked has been air fried, microwaved, or ovened. And you know this, Becca, because when you stayed with me, I could not make you my delicious basil pasta.
Well, you've never cooked for me, so.
How often are you really using that?
I cook all the time. I cook dinner for Chris at least 4 nights a week normally. I really do use my stovetop. So it was fucked up. So I did like all the things with the book. Like I tried to fix it online. I was like, well, f this. So then I got an appointment with the company and they're like, we're going to send you out a technician. I'm like, okay, it's broken. And I was like, it's not under warranty. Like I'm going to have to get a new stovetop. Oh my God, it's so expensive. So the guy comes and I was like, okay, here you go. I said, he's walking up the terrible driveway. And I was like, I'm so sorry. This is going to be the worst day because I think this thing is ruined and we're going to have to take it out. And like, this is going to really suck for you. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I see this all the time. He's like, what did you do? I was like, I drowned it. And he's like, okay, yeah. No, this is bad. And so we get in and he presses the on button. The whole fucking thing works perfectly.
Oh, wow. Isn't that good?
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but like, it's also annoying. Like, when did it start working? Have I
needed to dry out?
Did you just not know where the on button was? I mean, that's something I would do.
No, it's what happens to me is something doesn't work. And then your MacBook doesn't work. And you're like, okay, I'm going to stand in line. I'm going to go to the Genius Bar. I'm going to like do my whole day so that I can go to the fucking Genius Bar. And you get there. And the problem that you have with the thing, it doesn't do it in front of the fixer. It's just perfect now.
That happens with my car. I get it.
Right? And you're like, there's a clicking. And then the person drives the car and they're like, I don't hear the clicking. And you're like, gah. Anyway, so that's what happened to me. And
I'm sorry.
I was expecting a bigger reaction, but I understand that it's not that exciting. So that was my bad week. I'm officially 5 weeks without Diet Coke.
Oh my God.
Isn't that so exciting?
Is that a record?
No, I went a whole year once.
Holy year? Shit. I can't imagine that with you.
Yep. I'm really proud. And I also, I'm really proud because there's been multiple times that I've been stressed out. And my normal stress thing is to go to McDonald's and get a Diet Coke. And instead I was like, drink this water, Kelty. Water and iced tea have been my crutch. So live my life. Anyway, I'm so excited about our guest today. Luna Lovegood is here. It's time to jump into the LadyGang Loves Harry Potter Facebook group.
You know, if you've been listening to the Lady Gang, you know that we don't shy away from talking about sex on this show. So I am here today to talk to you about porn. Yep, porn. There's an ethical porn revolution happening right now, and it's happening on Bellesa. Introducing Bellesa Plus, the Netflix of porn. And people want better porn, and people want ethical porn, and Bellesa wants you to have both. And right now, Bellesa is letting listeners of the show choose what they want to pay for it. No catch. Just head to bplus.co/LadyGang and enjoy unlimited access and ad-free ethical porn at your own price. So I love Bellesa so much because they're women owned, they're women directed, and women run. Content on Bellesa focuses on real connection and emphasizes genuine female pleasure. That means no fake orgasm and no messed up ads. So Bellesa is out here changing the entire porn industry, so feel good about supporting great ethically made porn. Just head to bplus.co/LadyGang, choose what you want to pay, and enjoy Bellesa's porn, erotica, and sex ed guilt-free. That's bplus.co/LadyGang.
So the other day we were in our Lady Gang weekly meeting and all three of us were drinking out of our sponsor, Hydro Jug. That's right. You guys need to get your hands on the water bottle everyone is talking about. It's one of our new favorite items. It's the Hydro Jug. These durable and reusable jugs hold more than a half gallon of water, so you will stay hydrated all day long. Say goodbye to filling up your tiny bottle every hour and hello to Hydro Jug. So it holds half a gallon of water, like I said, leak-proof seal, wide mouth opening, which is very important, carry loop, integrated handle, measurement scale, BPA free, dishwasher safe. Thank God. And shatterproof bottle. Some of our favorite things about Hydro Jug is the wide mouth because it allows you to fill the jug with ice or fruit, make your water special. You can track how much water you've drank throughout the day with the measurement scale. So check out Hydro Jug at thehydrojug.com. Use discount code LadyGang to get 10% off your order today. Hydro Jugs are game changers for anyone on the go. Again, use code LadyGang at thehydrojug.com to get 10% off today and start hydrating today.
All right, so it is officially fall, and I am upgrading my fall wardrobe with my favorite brand, Everlane. So Everlane has made quality clothing with ethical factories and radically transparent pricing since 2010, and they have everything that you need to upgrade your look, whether you're going out on the town with friends or having a movie night in with the fam. What I am obsessed with Everlane recently is their brand new cardigans that are so cute, and their lofty knit Henley. They have this amazing turquoise color that I am obsessed with. They also have amazing athleisure wear and Jared's favorite pair of jeans in the entire world. They have skinny to relaxed, slim to athletic jeans, and you can find the perfect cut that fits your form just right. And Everlane partners with the best and most ethical factories in the world for a fit to feel good about. And they accept returns within 30 days of the ship date. So go to everlane.com/LadyGang to sign up for 10% off your first order plus free shipping and get easy returns within 30 days of your ship date. That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/LadyGang and sign up.
All right. I love this sponsor, Zocdoc. So basically, we've all had the experience where we have on our to-do list that we need to find a new dentist or a psychiatrist or one of those specialty doctors. And it's always such a headache to find someone good and also to make an appointment. So that's why I love Zocdoc. It is a free app and it is the easiest way to find a great doctor and instantly book an appointment. So with Zocdoc, you can search for local doctors who take your insurance, read verified patient reviews, and book an appointment in person or video chat. Never wait on hold with a receptionist again. Hallelujah. We love them so much. So whether you need a primary care physician, dentist, dermatologist, psychiatrist, eye doctor, or other specialist, Zocdoc has you covered. Every month, millions of people use Zocdoc, and I am one of them. It's my go-to whenever I need to see a doctor. We love Zocdoc. It's a free to download and sign up for free. So it's the time to prioritize your health now. Go to Zocdoc.com/lady. Download the Zocdoc app to sign up for free and book a top-rated doctor. Many are available as soon as today. That's Zocdoc, ZocDoc.com/lady.
Now back to the Lady Gang.
I'm going to screw up the name of this town, but our guest today was born in Turlomonfecton, Ireland. This blonde beauty began her acting career in 2007 when she competed in an open audition against nearly 15,000 girls and won the coveted role of Luna Lovegood in the Harry Potter movie franchise. No big deal. She appeared in 4 Harry Potter films and became a main character in the final 2 films in 2010 and 2011. And she's also voiced her character in their video games. And since Harry Potter, she's become a staple in London's West End and placed 3rd on Dancing the Stars here in the U.S. She continues to pursue acting and is known even more so as an animal rights activist. She's also a small business owner, not so small anymore because it's crazy successful. The Kinder Beauty Box is a monthly box of cruelty-free, vegan, and clean beauty delivered right to your door. And she's here today to talk about her brand new book, which is so wonderful. It's called The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting, The Tragedy and the Glory of Growing Up, a Memoir. We are thrilled she's here. There's so much to talk about. Please welcome to the podcast, Evanna Lynch.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. Wow. Career retrospective there. Thank you.
You've done a lot. You've done so much. Why was now the perfect time to write this book?
Because of lockdown, because everything kind of just stopped. No, you know what? Like, people have been asking that, like, well, why didn't you write it before? But I did. I always was like, oh, this was something I felt like it's not even like I wanted to write it. It was like I've been nudged to write it. And I'm like, okay, got to do this, got to get this out of the way. But I think I'm actually really glad it took me all this time to write it, because I think I'm better like writer, storyteller, like just technically, but also I'm much further away from those experiences. Because when I first started talking about mental health and like my recovery from my eating disorder, I was actually far too close to it. I think I still had a lot of issues. Sure. And it's just, it's been so different now going back to it and kind of having the perspective of an adult, but it's still close enough that the memories a lot of them are still quite vivid. So it took all that time. But yeah, really having lockdown and everything just shut up. And it was like, okay, I have nothing else to do except this book. So it forced me to do it. Yeah.
I want to read a little bit of the introduction because I really think it sets it up for what this book is. And your writing is so beautiful.
Oh,
the
thank you.
Way you write is so rich. And I have a little part that I got the advanced copy and I just wanted to read a tiny bit just because I think it's so beautiful. So she's talking about this kind of the introduction, and she's talking about why it's important to like reflect on the hard things in life. And she says, I think it's because we're afraid of our own darkness. We're afraid that if we fully surrender to our darkness, we'll never come back from it. We're afraid that our darkness will go on and on and on, that there's no end to it, and that we will get lost in it. We're afraid that if we show these ugly, unpalpable parts of ourselves, it will be too much for others, that no one will love and accept us, and we'll be left alone with only the worst parts of ourselves for company. So we don't let ourselves get too deep into self-hate, at least not in public. We hurry to slap on the happy ending and construct a heroic tale before the healing has even begun. The thing is, I don't believe this coping mechanism is the healthiest way of dealing with darkness. I've read articles depicting my life as a fairy tale, even as I sat at home consumed by darkness. And those stories only compounded my feelings of isolation and disillusionment. And what I found out is that darkness is not infinite, that you do actually get to the other side of it. But first, you have to submerge yourself in it. You have to stop skating above the surface of your depths. You have to confront and accept this darkness in order to heal from it. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, good. Thank you.
This is sort of the introduction, and she's setting it up, and like, this is just that kind of book. Like, it just rips your soul and it makes you feel less alone because you're sharing so much. Can you talk about the book as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that was really the intention I had when going into it, was just like, I can't write about self-love without writing really in depth about self-hate. And I do think, people are so, it is that they're so scared of the darkness and the nastiness and like the cruelty of your own inner mind or mental illness, because we're afraid that we won't be loved, and that it's just, it's not possible to overcome all that. And I just found, when I was going through my eating disorder, I did get all these quite saccharine, sweet, uplifting books, with quotes and stuff. And the funny thing is, when you are in a dark place and people just keep sending you positive affirmations, it just sounds like sarcasm. It's just like that. I don't believe that at all. And I think, even as a kid, even as a 11, 12 or whatever the age I was when I was going through it, I just saw through all that. I was like, nobody's talking about this this cruelty inside me, this meanness that I can't manage. And it sounds much more convincing than the sweet, superficial, trivial stuff. So, and that intro for the book is kind of there as a warning to be like, this is a tough read. It's not just going to be all self-love. And I want people who read it to just be mindful, because it's going into the voice of a person with an eating disorder. So sometimes it can be really toxic and mean, but I just feel we have to be honest about that in order to get through it, in order to kind of, laugh at it and really, I suppose, bring it all to light. That's a cliche, but bring that darkness to light. That's the only way. So, it's, I'm sort of going all over the place with an answer.
No. Okay. And I think the thing is that we've all been in that position before, where something terrible is going on in our life and person goes, it's all going to be okay. And you're like, go fuck yourself. Exactly. That's not what you want to hear. And I love a positive quote, but sometimes it just helps some to read or to be around someone who's like, here's my journey. I've always loved to read memoirs for that exact reason. What was your low point that you hit where you were like, okay, I need to start on this journey?
From the book or from that whole
just in your life, the whole era,
there's been many,
so it's like a rocky road. Yeah,
of course. And that's the thing, I've sort of turned my life into a story, but our lives aren't stories. They just go on, and we're always trying to find balance and trying to find mental health, a state of equilibrium, and it's gone all over the place for me. I mean, real low dark point. The height of my eating disorder was when I was 11, 12, 13 in hospital, and that that's when all the physical symptoms were there. But I talk about this a lot in the book, that probably the loneliest, hardest place was post recovery, because suddenly you don't have this sort of numbing agent. You don't have this thing that people identify you by and know you for, and that this kind of superficial problem is hiding the problems beneath that were always there. And when that's taken away and suddenly nobody's worried about you, you're kind of just like, well, who am I? What am I doing now? And so that was a lonely time. And also, again, what I talk about in the book, I was in the media a lot talking about this, and there was this narrative that oh, now you've got this success, now you've redeemed yourself, now you're a worthy human being. And that really, I struggled with that, because then when I was having periods in my life and my career where, I wasn't busy, I wasn't getting the jobs, it was suddenly like, well, what is my self-worth now? Or do I need to go back to my old coping mechanism, my eating disorder? So I really struggled with that. There were some dark points, between after Harry Potter, between the early 20s, because it was just like, oh, this thing that the world has told me, this is my value, this is my worth, and it's not actually happening the way I wanted it to. And I think you just have to have something much more solid and much more not depend on those external, the external validation. You have to have a solid inner foundation of your own self-worth, because those things can go away and they will, and you have to find a way to not go back to, your old self-destructive mechanisms.
I can't imagine, just from being part of something, being on Glee was this big as far as how big something is in the world and the zeitgeist. Harry Potter was is massive. It's this huge thing that's so much bigger than any of you. And I just, from this tiny little experience and watching the people around me who shot up to stardom, and the afterward is so tragic. It's such a, and listen, we don't have to feel sorry for anybody who had this major success and financial, whatever, but there's so much darkness on the other side of coming off, because that is who the world has told you are. You're saying, it was this narrative of now everything's amazing and wonderful, but they're not there when the job's done. You're left with yourself, and what you thought was who you are is also suddenly gone. So how long of a period? I imagine you experienced that, but how did you get through that? Because I find that people don't at all. Sometimes they stay in it.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Because it can be another form of addiction. fame, really, you know, and just that, or even working, like validating yourself based off how productive you are. And I think so many people suffer with that, like, you know, this in this meritocratic society, it's like, especially in our industry, it's like, what are you doing? I don't know. I mean, Harry Potter, we were lucky in that we were very enclosed and there wasn't social media, so we were more disconnected from it. But yeah, afterwards, you're right. There's nobody telling you what to do. And it's a lot harder than it looks, you know, on the inside of people will, I'm sure you've had this too. People have been like, why are you not on screen more? It's like, oh, you know what? I'd love to know. But I guess I've always had I had a good therapist since I had my issues as a kid, and she very much kept me on the spiritual path. And, yeah, like I would have periods where I would just kind of go off the deep end, and I would get, I don't know, into toxic relationships, or I just throw myself into my job and not take care of any other part of my life. But then you always come back to it, like those things go away, and it's like, yeah, who is there in your life? What has meaning? What's going to anchor you throughout that? And I mean, I think I have those things now, but no, they're definitely a rocky few years of not having that, and feeling this frantic need to kind of fill this hole, I suppose, this space that I didn't want to acknowledge, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things too that people outside of the industry can totally relate to and identify with, not obviously being on a TV or movie screen, but whether that's like you're in a relationship or something like an eating disorder, or anything that's like identifiable for your character, and then losing that or changing that, it really leaves you kind of at nothing and wondering what else there is within you that's going to make you the person that you are. So,
You know,
I feel like that's
like when you
for normies, that's also very relatable.
Well, for like the normies out there, it's like for a job, or maybe you're part of a community, or you're part of like a mom's group, or even
or a relationship,
or like your kids go off to school, or whatever that is. Like the thing, we all have those things where we're like, I am this person, you know? And when that gets taken away, and you have to like sort of look at yourself again and be like, am I worthy without whatever that thing was that I built my life around? Like, think of all of our friends getting divorced. I mean, I'm sorry, that's like really sad, but like you built a lot of my friends got married in high school, like right out of high school, and now they're getting divorced in their like mid 30s. And it's like, they're starting their whole life again. Like they were known as Mrs. What's her face. And so it's like, it can be really, really scary. And I think one of the things you talk about in this book is like, that very empty pursuit of perfection, like how that is something that we all go for, and that it's just empty.
Because it's limited, isn't it? We're looking for an end. We're looking for, again, somebody in the outside world to say, that's enough. You've done enough. You're good now. And you're never going to get that. And I mean, that's again, what this book is about. It's like creativity. If you want to live a creative life, is the antithesis of that. It's unlimited, and it's unpredictable and wild, and just like you're never done. Like even with this book, it was like I was editing it right till the very end. My editors probably hate me. We'll never do another book. It's just like it's never going to be done and perfect. And if you want to be expressive and creative, you're just going to have to live with that, and you're going to have to give up trying to, I don't know, capture something. And that's why the butterfly symbology is in the book, because it's about, just letting kind of beauty and color and magic, letting it be, letting it breathe, and not trying to hold on to it, pin it down and possess it. Like, I just think that strangles us creatively, that we end up destroying our bodies, we end up exhausting ourselves. And what's it all for? I don't know, somebody else, somebody in your imagination who you're trying to please, who you never will, you know?
I have a question for you after Kelty reading that intro. And I feel like this is probably pretty relatable for a lot of people. It's like the only way out is through. And as somebody who really likes to dodge the uncomfortable, the bad feelings, the dark things, the blah, 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 the whatever, I have worked with a therapist for a long time. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go through it. I'm ready to face it. I'm ready to feel whatever that darkness is. But it's like, how do you also have to relearn how to do that. You have to learn how to tap into that. So I guess my question is for people who want advice on that, like, how do you face the darkness? Like, what are things that you have done to sort of like introduce yourself to that part of yourself, get to know it, and like then know how to deal with it?
Yeah, that's a big question, of course. And because it's always, when it comes up, you do want to just fill the space and fill it with noise and be busy. But I don't know. I think it's just accepting being uncomfortable. I do a lot of journaling. That's where, when it's just like pain or whatever. And I do a lot of work with like different spiritual teachers. I have 2 shaman teachers, and they talk about holding the tension of opposites, like all your feelings, whether you're in deep grief or deep joy, that you have to kind of hold on to both, and something new will come through. I don't know, that's a bit of an abstract answer, but yeah, I mean, journaling, dancing, just anything to get it out. I think the problem happens is when, and this is where it becomes self-destruction, is when you feel those things and then you keep it inwards, and then it's like it's an energy that kind of putrefies and destroys you from the inside out. So I think anything you can do to express that, and yeah, for me, it will be dance, writing, therapy, that kind of thing. Yeah. How about you? What do you do?
I mean, I've had so many weird assignments from my therapist, and she's kind of more of this on the spiritual side of things as well. And I remember I had to do mirror gazing where I had to every single day sit in front of the mirror and look into my own eyes. And it was shocking that like, I would feel I was so bottled up because I just don't want to deal with the sadness or the darkness or whatever it is. But the moment that you sit there and you have like nothing to do but to look at yourself and look yourself in the eyes, it was like, I would sob some days. I would just like stare and like send myself love on other days. It was like, whatever it was literally not being able to hide from yourself. So those were things, and the journaling, and also like writing down things and then burning them. Like that was something for me that was so cathartic, because it was, like you said, it's an energy that I was able to get it out. And then the actual burning of the paper was a release of that thing. And it's so, people are so weirded out by this stuff, and it's so like
not me,
woo-woo.
It's witchy. It is witchy.
It's witchy, but there was no other way. There's no like you can't subscribe to any like one thing to face your darkness or go through your grief or pain or whatever. But those little things were really helpful for me. So that's kind of why I brought it up, because I was like, well, how do I do that? Like, what am I
practically? Yeah. No, true. It's hard. And as you say, you don't want to feel it. You'll do anything else. But my therapist, and yeah, she's so spiritual. She's so off the deep end. Like, she doesn't even believe in talking therapy now, which I'm like, I really miss that. But she is an existential psychologist. But I remember at a point, just like a dark place in life, I went to her just being like, because, you kind of reach for all types of things, eating disorders or addictions or, relationships. But I got to a point where I was like, I'm just so sick of life. I'm sick of being alive. I don't get it. I don't get what's the point. And she gave me the most practical answer ever. She was like, so she believes in reincarnation, which I actually do too. And she was like, okay, just so you know, if you do ever go through with that, you're going to have to deal with it in the next life. It's not going away. So you're just going to be in for a harder time. You're going to have to start all over again. You're going to have trauma. She's like, you're going to have all this trauma from, hurting yourself, and you're going to have to deal with that. And she just made it sound like, people think of things like these, self-harm and abuse as an escape, as a relief from pain, but it's actually making it worse. And when she said that, I was like, damn it. It's like,
there's no way out.
There's no way out. You have to go through it. Otherwise you're just going to keep having to learn the same lessons and go over it again and again. So yeah.
It's funny because Becca said, I remember this has always stuck with me because it happens to me too, where like I went to therapy when I was like having a grief, and then I've stuck with it. And there's some weeks where you like see it on your calendar and you're like, I'm so good.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this. Like my life I'm on a high, like everything's great. And then like when you're like, I think I can just see you every 2 weeks, like I'm doing so well. That's the week where it all like crashes and falls apart. Like it really is like, it's kind of like stay the course, because life is up and down and all of that. I do want to ask you before we move on to the next section. one thing, I mean, you're talking about in this book, like your lows and your weaknesses and these different dark things. But then on the flip side of it, you have this incredible, like, why the not me mentality when you go and audition against 15,000 other girls for this role. So like, you're so low, there's so much darkness. And then at the same time, you're like, I'm the fucking greatest. Here we go. Like, how did that happen?
I don't know if it was quite that far, but close. I mean, that was, I think there was always those dreams, that creativity glinting through the darkness. And that's what that's what the book I'm trying to, because it is also for people, families and friends of people with eating disorders, to be like, here's how you can support them. Don't zone in on their eating disorder. Don't just obsess over that. Find the bits of them and nourish them, nurture them, and help them to believe in those things. Because those are the things, rather than, any rehabilitation program, that was what really brought me out of it. So I think, I mean, I was lucky that I had people around me that continued to pull those things out of me and to encourage me that way. So yeah, by the time Harry Potter came around, that audition, I was pursuing like acting and creativity. I was like, this is what I want to be and this is what I want to do. And I do think, I was very insecure, but I think it was just like, this sounds a bit pretentious, but like, it was a higher calling, it was less about ego. It was less about proving myself. It was more, I just fully loved that character. I adored her. And it was more like, I'm here in service to her, rather than I have to get this for my career so I can have a successful life. And that helped me just get out of the way. And I found that like in auditions since, like I'll have one or the other. Like sometimes there'll be characters I just don't care about, and I get in my own way. I get too self-conscious. I try to manipulate the situation. But when I really love a character, I can get out of my own way. It's similar with, love and relationships. It brings out your best self. So I'm not the most versatile actor because I have that, because I really, really need to love what I do. But when I find that, it's easy. Yeah.
You're like the most thoughtful human I've ever.
I know. And the whole
to.
book is like, the whole book is just every sentence you have to sit, like munch on it a little bit before you move on to the next sentence, which I love. So before we get to the next part, if you guys are at this point, please head over to Amazon or wherever you buy your books and pre-order The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting, The Tragedy and Glory of Growing Up, a memoir. All right. When we come back, we have important questions for you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? Sometimes there's just kind of like this dark cloud over your mind and you can't figure out exactly what you're upset about. And, something that you can work out with your brand new therapist, because BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. And it's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. This is like therapy for people like me who do not want to drive across town to go sit in some old lady's office and talk about their life. It's available for clients worldwide, and you can do all kinds of different ways. You can do phone sessions, video sessions. You can even do text sessions. It's amazing. So visit their website, check out betterhelp.com/LadyGang. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 2 million people who've taken charge of their mental health with help of experienced professionals. And LadyGang listeners, you're going to get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/LadyGang.
Okay, ladies, can't remember the last time you wanted sex? Oh, you've got kids in the car? Oh, we'll call it ice cream. Listen, I scream, you scream, but maybe not for ice cream. Oops. If your desire for ice cream feels, like a rocky road, you're not alone. Millions of women have felt their libido melting away because of a medical condition known as hypoactive sexual desire disorder, or HSDD. But unlike brain freeze, HSDD can be treated. Maybe it's time to change the flavor of the day from not in the mood to libido renewed. So whether you're into plain vanilla or the queen of whipped cream, down to cone, or deciding between the big or little spoon, it's time to scream for ice cream again. Visit screamforicecreamagain.com to learn more. That's screamforicecreamagain.com.
We love Chinette. They are a premium disposable tableware brand. And if you're anything like me, you're having people over and you don't want to spend forever getting ready or washing your dishes after. Chinette is the go-to brand for cookouts, holidays, birthdays, game nights, baby showers, and so much more. They have amazing products. The Chinette Classic, of course, is microwave safe. It's made with at least 80% recycled materials. It's made in the USA and it's super durable. And then if you want to get eleganza, you can go to the Chinette Crystal. There's no shatter, has this unique swirl design. It's made in the USA. And then there's the Chinette Comfort, which is an amazing way to keep your delicious hot drinks hot with a little snap-on lid. So visit mychinette.com to find out more. We're so excited for our show in Austin to partner with them. And you can visit mychinette.com to find out more. Do amazing with Total Wireless, because when you move to Total Wireless, you can get an unlimited plan with incredible devices. Now with 5G available in 2,700 plus cities, capable device and SIM required. Get our best deal ever with an unlimited talk, text, and data plan for $25 per month per line for 4 lines with 100 gigs of shared high-speed data, then 2G, which can save you up to $80 each month when compared to comparable 4-line postpaid plans from the leading carrier. All of this on the network more Americans depend on. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. Visit totalwireless.com/coverage/check for more detailed coverage info. Plus, when you move to Total Wireless, you can get the latest devices like the newest smartphones and even hotspots to keep you connected to what matters the most, all with no contract. Discover us at totalwireless.com today. Total Wireless, do amazing. A month equals 30 days. A 30-day cycle for shared family data plans begins on the day of the first line or device is activated. Any lines or devices activated later in the first 30-day cycle will receive only the number of days remaining in that cycle. Savings claim excludes taxes, fees, auto pay discounts, and limited time pricing. Source competitor websites, April 2021.
You're listening to the Lady Gang.
All right, so we're back. Now, being with Becca Glee-Tobin, I know that there's nothing you hate more. Well, actually, I don't hate. There's nothing an actor dislikes more than when they move on with their life and then we keep harping on that show that we loved so much and that we can't let go of.
I tried to save you. I
just want to get that out of the way, that I know that this is your least favorite thing. However,
it's not. It's absolutely
LadyGang has its own. So we have a Facebook group, a Facebook community, but we have a whole separate Facebook group that I'm a part of that is just LadyGang Loves Harry Potter. And it's so like a whole other separate LadyGang group.
Aww.
And so I would get burnt at the Voldemort if I did not at least go and say you were coming on, and I collected a few questions, but I kept them very funny and hopefully things you haven't had to answer before.
Great.
Just so we can like really lean into this for one moment. And I'm so sorry in advance. And Becca, I'm embarrassed for you right now, and Jack, but like I'm doing it. Okay. Number one, how did Hagrid's mom and dad actually have Hagrid? Because he was a human and she was a giant, and that seems like it would be a micro penis situation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see that Joe definitely did think about that. It wouldn't have worked the other way around. If it was no, he would have killed her. If he was a giant and she was a little lady,
like a giant penis. You're right.
Yeah. So I think, what is it they say, that it's how you use it, or
it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion in the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was just, a feisty man. I'd assume he was quite, big anyways. But yeah, brave. He wasn't afraid of a strong lady. Love that. Love Hagrid's dad already.
That is amazing.
Okay, so we know that people... I just assume that when you're making these movies, you're sitting around all day. And since you were a fan, like you're just sitting around, like figuring out the things that read between the lines. So, okay, we know that people can't get into Hogwarts easily because of all the security, right? So how did Charlie Weasley's friends access the grounds via broom to take Norbert to Romania? And how did Harry and Ron get through with a flying car in their second year?
Oh, this is one of those plot hole things. There's so many of those. I'm not going to explain that. I don't know. Can't they do things like they can intentionally lift the charm? Dumbledore can do that if he wants to. But yeah, it's probably just a little plot hole that we shouldn't dwell on.
Who in the cast was the Harry Potter expert that knew everything about the book, that would be like pointing out the plot holes and pointing out like this wouldn't happen or what, like during the filming.
Oh, me,
was it
100%. I was such a pest.
Really?
Yeah. I was so annoying. Yeah. Yeah, no, just because I was a shy, awkward teenager, and Harry Potter was my social currency. So when people would make a mistake, I'd be like, I know this, and I would, get in there.
How old
God,
were
I love
you
that so much.
when you were cast?
14.
Oh my God.
So young.
Oh
Wait,
my
and
God.
the books, had the books been out? Oh, like, have you read any of the books? Okay.
Yeah, so up until the 5th one was out, or no, the 6th one was out. 6 books were out. There was one more to go. Yeah.
Was
like
there
really...
a part of one of the books that was cut that wasn't in the movie that you would have loved to like been in a scene?
Yeah, there was lots. I would have loved to be, there was a bit where Luna was supposed to commentate the Quidditch match. I would have loved to be in, and it was originally in the script, but they didn't put it in. And then also Dumbledore's funeral. I was really devastated when they cut that out. I tried to negotiate with the producers, but they were like, it's a budget thing. We can't afford it.
You're like, but you need it.
The mermaids and the centaurs. Yeah.
I have a question for you. So since you were such a fan, and then like you have these expectations of going in and auditioning and then getting the job, like in your mind, it was probably the most incredible, like the bar was probably so high for what that experience was going to be for you. Mm-hmm. Did it match up when you were doing it? Or did you have moments doing it where you're like, pinch me, this is amazing? Or this wasn't really what I expected? Like, it's so...
Oh no, definitely. It was incredible. Just because of like the level of excellence by all of the crew, like how every little detail, the things you see them if you go to the tour or the exhibitions, but to be there, to just like, somebody would be there typing up an article for the Daily Prophet and poring over that. Nobody's going to read that, but it's just like, everyone really cares about it. But at the same time on set, sometimes like people would just be moaning about what they had for lunch, or they'd be like, I want to get home to watch I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And it's like, the fact of me, the Harry Potter purist, was like sacrilege. I was like, we're doing God's work here. What are you
literally were.
Yeah. So it was funny that like for some people it was just a normal job. It was just their craft. It wasn't this big. They weren't thinking about, we're creating a legacy. Right. They were just doing their job. Yeah.
They weren't thinking that like 10 years later you'd be on a LadyGang podcast. Someone would have asked, like, is there a wrong way to hold a wand? My last question is, what was the last scene that you ever personally filmed, and were you emotional?
Oh yeah, it was very cathartic because it was the Battle of Hogwarts scene. So where everyone, the whole entire cast, basically of all the films, and Hagrid comes out carrying Harry's body. It was that scene, and we all were. It was lovely because it was a very serious, somber scene, but it was great because everyone was there. So it was like you got to hug everyone. We had a big cast photo, and because usually like on the other films, the last shot will be a shot of your hand, and you'd be like, oh, okay, that's it then.
You're like, I guess I'll go.
Exactly. So it was nice to have that as the whole group, and then to really send it off together. Yeah.
Were you so scared for that to end?
Yeah.
I just had no concept of it ending. Kind of like school, you're like, this will just go on, but also when it's gone, you don't realize how much you miss it. And it was probably only in the year after that it was like, oh, it's never coming back. I wish I had been more present for that experience. Mm-hmm.
That's like the problem of life. You know what I mean? It really is. We're like so busy again on the next thing. It sounds like you were pretty present though. So I know on your Instagram I saw that you were on a show with some of the old cast.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So do you keep in I hate this question, but I've watched Becca get asked it a million times. Like, you're all still friends, you hang out, but now you're going on the show. So I feel like I can't ask. Like,
yeah. It is a family vibe where you just breeze in and out of each other's lives. I just know there'll always be an opportunity. Like that came out of the blue. Yeah. James and Oliver Phelps, who play the Weasley twins, they're doing this travel show, and they're having me show them around Ireland, and Bonnie in Iceland, a few different, so things like that just keep coming up. But I do have a couple who are best friends, like Katie Leung, who played Cho Chang, and Scarlett Bernie played Pansy Parkinson. So they're friends I see all the time. But everyone else, we all get on and just know they're around, they're in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Cute.
Okay, last question. Do you think at some point they will remake all these movies? Like everything from my childhood that I love because I'm old.
They cannot remake these movies. There's no way.
They remake everything.
I know, but you can't touch such gold.
I'm just saying that like,
eventually they're going to, aren't they? They can't not.
I mean, I think they will eventually. Like,
I feel like they'll probably do a TV series. I think that'd be great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Would you ever do a spinoff, like your own spinoff, Luna?
Oh, absolutely. Sign me up. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But I'm
into that.
getting too old. Like, we're going to be playing the teacher soon. Because it is weird. Like it doesn't feel that long ago, but then so many of those, that generation have actually died. Half the cast. It's like, no, we'd have to be the grown-ups next.
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that.
But I kind of
Right,
it's like the
Alan?
next generation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And I mean, that never works, to be honest with you. Like when they do 90210, the next gen, degrees of the next gen, you're like, no, I don't want new people. I want those same people. Ugh.
Just pretend like you're playing young people, like in Pen 15. You can just pretend that you're like 12 years old forever.
Dear Evan Hansen, he's like 28 years old, shaving his arms, trying to play a teenager.
Really? Good for
You
him.
look great. So with the right lighting, you're 14 again.
Yeah, cool.
You're so lovely. Everyone in the Lady Gang, please go and support her. Get this book, pick it up. It's coming out October 14th. Let's get her to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. But also let's just read it because I know you put your heart and your soul into this book and it really comes across and it's a wonderful, wonderful read. So again, the book is The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting, The Tragedy and the Glory of Growing Up, a memoir. And also you can head on over to kinderbeauty.com to check out the beauty box, which has been massively successful. So congratulations to you on that.
Thanks so much.
You already follow her, like all 4 million of you. But if you're not, you can follow her at Evanna Lynch on Instagram.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so nice. Thank you for being so sensitive. Like I have been nervous to have, these interviews, but it's so lovely to have a really deep chat. And thank you for having me on and just,
Thanks for coming.
And we will
see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social at Kelty, at Becca, at Jack Vanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.